Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Ann, and she's here for a follow-up, and I'm gonna put her first interview, in the comments since they want to give me strikes for putting links in my description. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Also, if anybody, is wanting to see for themselves, doubts my channel, thinks whatever, and would like to schedule a Zoom call so I can sit down and show you what we've actually done for targets over the last 3 or 4 years with this channel, we'd be glad to do that. I want to play something before I go into the interview, and I just think this is very important and something for people to think about, including me. This is the mark of the beast. And he's talking about a phone. Now, this is his opinion, but either way, whether it's the mark of the beast or not, and I'm not saying it is, but the point he's making, it's not. I'm not saying it's the mark of the beast, but the point he makes after this is what I'm wanting y'all to listen to. At work, at home, you are now a slave. You are now a digital slave. You come to this plantation. This is a new world. This is a physical world. You have a spiritual world. Now you have the metaverse world. Don't you leave your real world and enter into this metaverse world and stay on here all day. You be at the table with your kids, your wife. So now you have entered into hell. This is the mark of the beast. That's just opinion, but we all need to be careful about, I don't know. I'm trying to get back into reading paper books, and just because this phone will have you, and I really think, every phone has the ability to map out your brain, and just you can spend too much time on the phone instead of, like get you a physical Bible and read it, or read a book, or do stuff that was happening before the internet days. So anyway, Ann, thanks for coming out to give a second follow up. How things been going since I think we interviewed what about a year and a half ago, maybe a year and 2 months, something like that.
Yes,
How has things gotten worse or better?
um, it depends on the day, but yeah, they're not any better, They're doing a lot more, it seems like, they have new technology now. Um, they're still breaking in every night, every single night. They're cutting my hair, showing you that. Have a lot of videos about my hair and the injuries that they leave me physically. And then you have the weapons as well. So yeah, they're basically frying me, get battery power. That's what Amy found in a what do you call it, audio analysis, that they're hitting
Uh-huh.
me with 9-volt battery, you know, and I can feel it, get in my head, sometimes in my body, but mostly my head. So my poor little brain, yeah, all we can
And
do. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all we can do is just hope and pray for God to come back because we're getting into a time of revelations. We're going into a new era, and all of this is gonna end, and we'll actually be alive and healthy and happy and have food and all kinds of wonderful things that God is going to prepare for us for that time until we mess up again.
Right.
but uh but yeah, that's what keeps me sort of sane, is looking toward what is going to happen when everything is done with here. Because if we don't get right, we still have a chance to not go through terrible, terrible times if everybody does what we're supposed to do. What does God command us to do? And if we follow the Ten Commandments and we love God and we put Him first, we can avoid a great deal of what we've got coming to us because God is merciful. And I truly believe that. So I that's what gives me the hope and to kind of continue day by day, you know.
Right. Um, man. So I guess, well, yeah, that's right. I can think. Are you believe in the rapture?
Um, no.
Well,
Um,
okay. Well, I don't look, I don't push my beliefs on anybody. I was just wondering if that's what you were talking about, how it may be shortened. Um, because you said we may get to dodge some of the more harder times. That's why I asked that. What you might be referring to when you say that?
yeah, well, that's in the second coming when Jesus comes back for good, we
Oh,
get
okay, okay.
yeah, this time around, if you read Revelations 20, God is just gonna give us a time of peace, and it's supposed to last about 1,000 years, but it depends on us,
Right.
And our reading, our mass reading yesterday was really profound. The first reading was on Isaiah, where God talks about basically new heavens and a new earth, where if you die at 100, you will die too soon. You'll be too young, so we'll get to live a really long time, I think that's wonderful because, for us targets, for anybody that has gone through some horrible things in their life and had life taken away, well, we get a chance to kind of reclaim that and to be in Christ, because it's so hard when you're traumatized, it's so hard to really look at what what are you doing, God, but we'll just have an opportunity to kind of reclaim some of our life back, so I look forward to that. That really excited me because
Right.
I don't know if I ever saw that before, or I'm sure I did, but it never really impacted me like it did yesterday. So,
And a verse comes to my mind when I've always about 6 months ago I was reading it and it just snapped all together for me. It's Romans 8:17. It says, and if we are children, then we're heirs or heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together.
amen.
So suffering's temporary, and it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
I mean, it's hell, so don't think I'm trying to s- make it look like a cakewalk. But from that verse right there, Romans 8:17 in the King James, it tells us, you know, we'll be glorified together if we just get through it and hold on and keep the faith. Because
Amen.
unfortunately, the targeting program has caused many to lose their faith. I was one of them at one time, but I held on and looked back at my life and looked at all the supernatural things God got me through, and there was no way I could um, stay in that losing faith mode. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Amen. That's so true. That's so true. I mean, the
Right.
fact that some of us even wake up every day, because yeah, that's a miracle. It's a
Yep.
miracle. Being able to breathe, being able to walk, to just do anything at all is a miracle with what we're going through. So praise the Lord for that. But
Amen. That's why I try to tell targets when they're going through it, man, in the midst of it, find somebody that's got it totally horrible than you and empathize with their situation so much that you're grateful that you were blessed not to be in that situation. And it'll help pull you out of your mess sometimes. I've used it a million times over the years.
yeah, that does help. It absolutely does. And there's a lot of saints that actually asked to suffer more. And they had like cancer and different things. And they're like, they had a glimpse of what their suffering was doing for souls because they offered it up for the souls, that needed God. And when they saw that, it's like, Lord, just give me more. I'll just keep giving it back. And, you know, uh, I don't know. There's some days I can handle that. There's other days I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on, end this already, God.
Right. Right. I've been there too. Yeah. It's, and man, and, you know, man, the losing faith thing, I'm not going to try to make this about a spiritual topic, but of any, well, there's just nothing you could say to somebody who's lost faith, and I just hope that they could reconsider and just cry out with their heart and just talk to him and tell him to ask him to show that he's real if you're having doubts, but say it with your heart. Because I was there for a few months and I had to pull myself out of it. And if I hadn't pulled myself out of it, I might not even be doing this right now.
Right, exactly, exactly. We've lost too many already to doing something to themselves because they couldn't handle it. And our suffering has great, great merit. If y'all could see what that can do for the world, I mean, we could stop wars, if we offer up our suffering and just you know, do that, and rely on God's mercy. That's happened in the past, but yeah, collectively, what we can do for this earth, wow.
Yes, because I think there's a technology aspect, but I think it's a spiritual war too.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And Psalms out loud are very powerful, and that's from my experience. We use them. Me and Holly read them almost every morning, out loud, and every night. Sometimes we'll just be watching TV, and I'll just pause the TV and start reading the Bible. Uh, and I like to use the 1611 King James version, because it's got the Apocrypha and some of the other books in there. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Are they have they ramped up the psyops, the weapons, or all of it? Like, what are you
Um,
noticing as far as the weapons?
as far as the weapons, it's like constant. It's been constant since I don't know if it was before the interview or not, but I know when they started looking, when Trump got in office and he started, Elon Musk started the Doge thing. It seemed like that got really bad around that time. Um, so I think that what's happening is the people are angry because they're likely going to get caught. They did have some money cut off. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, David, but when they took away USAID for a little while, for about the first 2 or 3 months, things did calm down as far as the stalking was concerned. They did kick up the weapons, but I didn't see anybody walking past my house. There wasn't cars driving by like there are now. I don't know if you heard that guy. Oh, there's another one. But you could go somewhere and nobody was following you. I don't know if that happened to everybody, but there was a few of us that noticed that and were spread out, in different states. So I'm thinking that a lot of these NGOs are funding this. And then what was that one? The Blue NGO? I can't remember what it was called now, but they started looking for money. They were trying to get donations, and they did. They got their donations. Soros stepped in and gave a bunch of money. Act Blue is what it was. And then it seemed like everything kicked up again. It was a little bit slow, but before you knew it, you had like 100 cars following you and
Yeah.
the other direction. Yeah.
On talking about NGOs, Matthew Roberts on X, if anybody there's some stuff that, I have an interview from him and I got to go through it. And it was a phone interview and I recorded the conversation, but some of the stuff he's explaining can't be put on YouTube. So, um, I have to edit it. But if anybody can go and search Matthew Roberts on X, he explains that NGO stuff. Have you heard it? You know who I'm talking about, Ann?
I don't think so.
Matthew Roberts.
Yeah,
You would have you seen him, but anyway, he explains everything about how well, in his opinion, during the Obama administration, uh, they had this weapon tech and EEG and all this, and I can't say some certain stuff that went on, but uh, uh, supposedly Hillary and Obama uh, passed all this tech and this program on to NGOs. That way, every time anybody looked at government or anything like that, it's been passed on. There's no culpability leading back. You see, but the way he
right.
explains it, if you have not, I'll send you a link to him, and you just listen to him for yourself. It's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Um, but I wish I could go into detail. And this video was 6 months ago. It's just so hard to edit, and there's so many parts I need to edit. It's gonna take a long time, but the Matthew Roberts explains a lot, and he knows a lot, and he tracked his perpetrators for 5 years and went all around the country, and he tracked them to an NGO in Texas, and so it's very interesting what he has to say, and I wish that I had a platform on Rumble or something that I could get just interview him on there and get that story out because he's very knowledgeable. So are they do you experience vertigo like very heavy head pressure? Like I know a couple months ago, man, my right, if I thought I had an aneurysm, it was so, and then after that I was sick for 45 days. Are you experiencing like really bad pressure in your head? And
I
uh,
do get pressure, and I do, often get dizzy and discombobulated, and my knees go out from under me. I haven't really fallen in a long time, but I've been close. Hello, thank you.
Afternoon. No, have a great day.
You too. That was my mail lady.
right, like so she, because I mean I've had vertigo recently so bad, like I thought I was walking straight and walked into a wall, and no, I wasn't on alcohol or nothing like that. So this is, I mean, these weapons like, do you get heated up, nauseated?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Especially when I'm in the shower lately and I get lasers in my eyes. That's confirmed through Amy's audios that they were shooting me in my eye. And I have military planes going by. They're actually taking pictures, internal pictures of the damage that they're doing. So somebody is getting a souvenir from the military for what they're doing to me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? No, there's no accountability. That's our biggest problem. And I'm going to make a plug here. Y'all vote pro-life because we're less likely to do this to anybody. Um, the people that are, supporting and protesting for abortion and that type of thing, they're also into euthanasia. They're doing they're doing these things to us. Um, and I'm not going to say that all Republicans are pro-life because they're not. We have a lot in office that are kind of talking the talk, but not walking the walk. So we have to be really aware of who we vote for. Um, so that's all I'm going to say about that. It's pro-life for the win. If you want this to end, these are the people that we need to elect.
right. And man, there's so much I could say about the abortion and what it actually, and I'm not putting nobody down who's made that decision. There's
Right.
always forgiveness, but if you really look into why they promote the abortion and what the really dark, sinister thing of why they promote it, which I don't even know if I could say it on here, but you probably know where I'm going with it. Uh,
Oh,
um, it's basically baby sacrifice continued, and they're getting energy off of it. But it's that's another topic for another day. And I'm not
yeah.
talking down on anybody who may have made that decision, but I am talking from an aspect of somebody whose mother was in the abortion clinic, and my dad begged her that if she would leave, that he would take custody of me and not even, charge her child support or anything like that. He begged her, and so I'm speaking for the aspect, because 30 minutes and I wouldn't have been here. So
Wow.
I've really researched the topic, and there's a more dark, sinister thing behind why they're trying to legalize it. Um,
Oh,
and it
absolutely.
has to do with energy harvesting and stuff like that, on top of the benefits certain group of people get off of the used, you know what. And I'm trying to be on the edges here. But anyway, so yeah, I'm man, I just gotta get that out of my head before I go too far with it. But what was we talking about? Weapons. Oh yeah. So on the discombobulator, that was, I don't know if anybody's seen the clip of Trump talking about it. You know, I think they use all that stuff, the portable weapons, and there's no telling what Trump was talking about when he said that. He said, I got to be careful what I say about this because So but the video I saw, he said, yeah, Venezuela uh, has a very strong army, very powerful army, and we were able to go in that military base and get Maduro without nothing, without
Right.
no, so it not only discombobulated electronics, it discombobulated the people too. So uh, and on the 60-minute thing, I found it interested. I think it was a ploy to take us off of the bigger system that's in place that tracks and because the more people that focus on portable weapons, which they do exist, they are used. I've seen Kara Melton Stewart have a picture of one. I've seen some pointed at us. And if I can dig the picture up, there's a person, an SUV drove by, parked in front of our driveway one night and pointed this shiny thing out the black back window. And so portable weapons do exist, but there's a bigger system in play, and I really think the 60-minute thing was, now if one of us talks about the system that tracks and traces, people can say, well, they're just not all they got. They used portable weapons on the diplomats in Havana. What makes you think they got a system in place that can track and trace and attack anywhere? So. Uh, it's very interesting. But what I learned is the stuff these diplomats and whistleblowers were talking about experiencing on that 60 minutes, the head pressure and all of it. Man, a lot of us who are nobodies, I guess, in these podcast eyes because they always want to focus on diplomats and not civilians that have been. I mean, a lot of us could relate to that. The pressure in the head, the loss of balance, the memory loss, the short-term memory loss. That's a very important aspect to pay attention to in that 60 minutes things is what I was focusing on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, especially the memory loss because
Yeah.
we we talk and we sound like we don't know what we're talking about. You
Yeah,
forget.
because there was a couple times last month when I scheduled an interview. Well, I was really getting tacked though. I was like 45. I scheduled an interview and didn't remember I had the interview till 5 o'clock the afternoon, the interview was scheduled for 11 a.m. And I swear it didn't even cross my mind. You see, so man,
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
that unfortunately that happens, and Jeff goes through that too. My friend, I tried to get away from this. I didn't know how big it was or anything at that time. I went to a homeless shelter and
Mm.
found him there. Well, his parents both had one had dementia and one had the other thing, you know. And so when he got here, he had lost some very important papers. I can't remember what they were. And, he only had a few things. It wasn't, like he was moving from a house or anything, he couldn't find it. And he was absolutely terrified. And I could see it in his face. I'm like, Jeff, listen, these people, they're breaking in. He didn't want to believe that they were breaking in, right? Because, well, I mean, you just feel so unsafe and it's scary. And being a man, having that, that's terrible. He explained that to me later. But yeah, he was so upset. I'm like, look, it's probably going to show up again. Just deal with it. Ask God to help you to find it. And sure enough, it was a couple weeks later. He moved a pair of pants off his chair and he said it was under his chair. And I'm like, see? And he
But he
said,
had looked there before, right?
yes, yes, you went there
Yeah.
every day looking
Typical
for it.
gaslighting.
Yeah, exactly. So they were trying to make him think that he was already getting that, dementia or whatever. And that's terrifying, for somebody. And I've seen other people go through that too. And it's like, with the weapons that they're using on us and everything, all we can do is trust in God that we're going to get through this, right? Because it's absolutely horrible what uh what they can do to us.
Right. Oh yeah, and she has a YouTube channel. I can share it, can't I?
Yeah,
It's at Victorious One.
yeah.
Victorious One at Victorious One on YouTube. Um, and if you want me to share some of them videos, I will too. I want to ask one more question before we do go into that, if you even want to. how's your sleep? Are they doing sleep deprivation on you? Do you get a lot of sleep or do they how's that going?
Especially they're not doing the sleep deprivation so much on me. Once in a while they do. Usually it's when one of my cats wants to lay on me. Now my Rosie, she always lays on me and she'll lay on my body. But my other cat would get by my feet and I would start kicking until she left. And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to do this. I can't control it, you know? I try to put blankets on, to try to stop, those cooling blankets. I have a glass filled blanket and, they stretch the heck out of it after the first couple days I got it. So it doesn't work anymore. It did work wonderfully when I first got it. I put it on and I was like, I can lay still. I can go to sleep,
Like
you know.
a glass bead blanket?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that that helps.
Yeah.
Um,
And the cooling stuff, the like cooling material, that helps somewhat too, but after they stretch it out, it doesn't do anything. Um, so there's that.
right. I seen this girl on Telegram. She had made a copper beanie, not copper fabric, but out of copper. Like she had these copper rings and stuff, and she made a whole beanie like looked like a net that went over her head. And I
Okay.
was like, man, I want to get one of them. And I can't. I've looked and there's none for sale. But man, that was a genius invention she had, and I wonder how good it worked.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be absolutely fabulous. You know, um, I know that they have like copper foil. Um, they also have copper netting, um, that maybe you could fashion a beanie or put it underneath a hat or something. I never even thought about that until you brought it to my attention. That would,
I'm gonna see if I can find this. I want to show you this, or show everybody this if I can find it. Um,
yeah, I
what have
can't
you
see.
been using to help you? I ask ever target this because different things work for different people. What would you say besides the glass thing and the glass bead blanket and the cooling things? Is there anything else you use that really helps?
Strobing lights. I have all these disco lights, and I have to either move them or switch them out, to get a little relief. But they're getting better at getting us, I have laser light bulbs that help sometimes. Um, yeah, strobing flashlights, remote controls, they help. Um, Copper combs. And that's all I can think of right now. I know I'm forgetting something.
All right, and the copper cones really help you too.
Yes.
Okay. Honest. And
Yeah,
do you want to
especially
show these videos?
sure.
Okay. Let me see. Share the screen. Well, yeah, the sleep deprivation has, man.
I am
Well, I don't
so
know if
sorry.
you mess with, but man, they've been making me go 8 or 9 times at night to the bathroom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it could be just medically, and that's the thing too. A lot of times when we block, even if we block weapons securely, they've got us so drained on vitamins or minerals like magnesium and stuff like that, that we may think we're still being attacked because vitamin deficiencies can affect you horribly,
Yes, absolutely.
and these
Yeah, that
weapons definitely drain it.
yes, they do. Yes, they do.
All right, here. See, I gotta turn the volume off to this because well, there may be a copyright.
If anything, anyone.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I may have to take that part out. Let me see. Mute. Okay, now I can play the video.
Do you get flying bugs like in the middle of December, January? All of a sudden, it's like you have a swarm in your house, and you're like, where did that even come from?
I'm listening. Can you hear me? What happened to the volume? Hello? Well, maybe it's not going to let me hear you.
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
there we are.
Yeah, like I've asked myself the same question, like how are the bugs flying? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, especially when it's so cold.
Yeah, it
Are
has
you
to be bringing it in because there's no way that they would be able to come in, you know, and swarm like that. I mean, you think about it, biology, right? If a queen did find her way in here, you'd see a few and they would probably die because you're getting rid of them. But
right?
oh, that's another thing, bug zappers. I have those. I have a couple of rackets with some garlic in them, and I just leave them plugged in all the time. Every once in a while, you'll hear the weapon hitting them, and then the stuff fries. Um,
Right.
I have another one that I guess those flying bugs are attracted to. That's why I asked because I would hear it go off, and I'm like, oh, that one's working. I don't even have any garlic or anything in it, but I took off the back and there was a bunch of bugs flying out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had so many because I'd see some every once in a while. I'm like, they had to bring them in. So I don't know where the nest is. I know there's a queen around here somewhere. I don't know where.
Are they ants?
No, they're like little gnats.
Oh, hmm. Have you looked it up to see if they're supposed to be around in wintertime?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to be around in wintertime. No, there, there's nothing going to be flying in Michigan when it's this cold.
Right, right, right. In the South, it's a little different, but yeah, I can see up there, yeah. And they do, if people look it up, they have drones now that look like fireflies. They got all kinds of stuff going on now with it, especially China, and I'm sure America does too, but the stuff I've seen is from China, like miniature sized drones that look like bugs. They got roaches that crawl around and I'm not saying if you see a roach, it's a robot or nothing. I'm just saying they do have that stuff.
Right. Well, if you squish it and you could probably even feel or hear
Oh,
that there's
right. Yeah.
technology in it.
But
I
I've
could,
seen a dragonfly, mechanical dragonfly. It looks totally real. Man, I wish I could find, but you could probably look it up, Michael. But it's just weird, and it's just to spy on people.
yeah.
And I'm sure it can do more than that. But man, it's just odd where technology's going with this stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, they've had that for years, years and years and years. But I remember sitting out in my garden and I saw some things. There was a fly. It didn't look real. It's just the way it flies because on top of everything that they're doing to me, they were also giving me some substances, right? So I'm just sitting there staring at stuff and I'm like, and you're acting like you're a little blitzed here. What's going on? But I would just kind of stare at things for hours. So I learned how bugs fly, how they move. And, these other things would be around, and I'm like, that's not right. And sometimes if they hit the sun just right, you could see the metal glowing. And I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm like, no, that has to be some kind of bio. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything on it. I thought it was some kind of maybe rare bug that was around here. Maybe something came from another country. Yeah, no, it was actually a spy bug.
Right. Technologies, man, it's crazy. Oh, you want to explain what's going on in here? I can play it, I think, without the volume now. Do you want to explain what's going on in here in this video? Can you see
Yeah,
the screen?
yeah, I can see
Okay.
it. I was on the a video call with Deb K, and she could see that I was getting attacked, and I could not see it, because we're on the phone. I could see myself, and You see how it's all mess all,
Distorted.
yeah. That's an attack. So she was taking screenshots.
And y'all usually don't, it don't usually happen like that, right?
I don't know. I haven't been on the phone with a lot of people. I haven't talked to Deb in a long time. I'm gonna have to call her. Um,
And she's got some good evidence too, and I hope I can get her to get her videos together because I mean these them neighbors are just and all them people around her are just blatant about they don't care if they leave evidence or not.
right. Exactly. I don't understand because she's got people that she knows because she was a deputy, for a while, and they drove her out. But so she knows people. She's getting evidence. She's got somebody flying a drone for her, and but nothing's going on. And you know what? I was told by that Melinda girl that was here that my perp is actually her perp. He owns that what do you call it, car wash by her. Yeah, anything with a star in it, he is connected to.
Like a star, what on the business?
Yeah, it will say star or it will have a star.
I don't think there's music on this one, so I don't. Is there?
No, there's no music. That
Okay.
was talking.
And you can watch these again on at Victorious and the number one if you want to because if you want to support her channel.
Few minutes now. I mean, you know, I think that's unusual behavior because why are you standing there on the phone? Are you homeless? What's going on? Uh, oh, here it comes now. See if we can get.
Yeah, I get stuff like this a lot, but it's been a long time since I've seen somebody standing like that by the bushes, like he was trying to hide. By the time I pulled out my phone, he knew that I had him. And see how dirty my windows are too? That's from the weapons.
Right. See, I've done that too, and it's either,
Goodness, this thing happening. Now he is on the phone and pretending to be on the phone. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I thought that was pretty weird. Let's see where he goes. Come on, guy, keep it moving.
He's walking kind of slow.
Is he gonna keep going down the street? No, I guess he put down the phone, it looks like. So did he do that just for me? He walked past my house talking on the phone or pretending to. There goes the one-eyed bandit. Trafficker. Can't get much on him. Okay, well, we'll stop watching this guy now. God bless you, everybody. Like,
yeah, and see when that stuff happens, like I noticed that too. As soon as you get the phone out and start recording, like if there's a car, like it's just like if it's a coincidence, it happens way too many times, you know?
Right, exactly.
As soon as you
And-
put the phone, they start getting to doing something, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's actually rare if you're actually talking to somebody that they'll do stuff, so you could record it and show them. But
Yep.
yeah, as soon as you put it down or, they do something before you get it, and a lot of times, you just can't get that evidence. But it is what it is.
I think this is a plane. Then I'm gonna show a neat Faraday cage to everybody. Somebody sent me after this. I wish I could build one.
I think Lena Hope is built one and she's gonna buy one or something.
Oh wow. Wait till you see this one I got. I'm finna show y'all. It's gonna, man, it blows my mind how, I mean, I wish I was that creative. So this is the military plane, right?
I think so. I can't see. I just see a
It's
red.
about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is what I'm seeing. He was sitting back, it looked like over by the water, and now he decided to come.
Yeah, it's a military plane.
Yeah.
That light shining right at me. I got another one over here. Got down and I tried to move that disco light, but I didn't do a. Oh, that's not him. My windows are so dirty. Oh, you can see
You
them.
can hear it plainly.
That's another plane just sitting there. Now, what's this about here? I mean, I do know, but well, that's all for now, folks. God bless you.
Yeah, they got planes that can go over a city and capture all the data on every phone with one click of a button.
Yeah, I do believe that that's what they're doing here because there's way too many planes. They're in flight constantly 24/7. Um, Sometimes they'll see them, but they actually cloud up the skies too. We hardly have any sun in Michigan anymore.
Wow. Hold on, I know what I need to do with this. Okay. I'm gonna have to share this somewhere else to
Yeah, I noticed after COVID, I did have planes flying over me, but not so many. It didn't seem like it was constantly. They were smaller. Some of them, I believe, were drones, because they were smaller. And then COVID came, and then we went to war. And it was within 2 weeks that the planes that I saw were bigger. And there were more of them. There were different styles of them, and they are our military. So, yeah, we have a horrible deep state that they just have a lot of power.
right. All right, let me see. Well, I'm gonna have to mute that. All right, now watch this. This is interesting. Okay. Uh, and for anybody being attacked with weapons, I had never seen. Let me see. Can you see how big that is?
Oh,
And I don't know
yeah.
if I can play that video, the music, so I'm trying to be careful. But man, that is advanced, ain't it? He don't tell how to
Oh,
do it. He just shows it off. It's just looks like he's got a organite, a copper cones in the corner of it, and it's just like one big piece of copper. Wish I could find who did this and learn how to make it.
yeah, that's cool. Looks like whatever it is energized there. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that is really cool.
If anybody knows who that is for some reason and knows how to make one of them exactly like that, please let me know.
Yeah, that would probably really help a lot.
Because you notice all four corners had the copper cone. It looked like a piece of organite and some crystals or something in each corner in them pyramids. And then
Yeah.
he had a big thing in the middle of it too, where it came together. And I'm sure he had it grounded somehow too.
Yeah, it looked like it was grounded because it had the wires wrapped around it, you know,
Right.
and the probably the organite was grounded too because I mean it had lights on it, so it was energized, you know. So that's really cool.
And see, I got this. This is for, well, this, like I've showed like EMF reading where it was red like 100 and something on the meter, and I put this and it takes it back down to normal. I find when I still get hit with weapons, but you know, once you get hit by direct energy weapons so long, you become electrosensitive. So if you're in a room with electronics with like a lot of power, you can get nauseated, fatigued just being electrosensitive. You become electrosensitive. So
Yeah.
this thing really helps. Like if you're going to buy an orgonite pendant, you're gonna have. I mean, if you get a $25 one, you're gonna have to splurge to get something that's gonna do anything. And most of the time, you want to make sure that they advertise it up against a tri-field meter. So what they'll do is, if you find the right one, because I researched 2 months before I even got this, so they'll put this next to it and wave it around, and it'll make the tri-field meter jump off the charts, which means it's got a strong magnetic field, and the magnetic field pushes the EMF away from you. You know, they can still get weapon attacks like radio frequency attacks and all that. And they can still hit you, but like on this computer right now, if I wasn't wearing this, I'd probably be nauseated, ready to throw up right now, and just from being around a lot of because I'm electrosensitive now. I don't know if you deal with that.
Yeah, I do. You know what? I got one of those and mine did not work. I
Not
was
even
so
for electrosensitivity.
no, I finally got an EMF meter and I actually it was on the phone and I tested against the phone. I'm like, oh no, this thing is actually doing the opposite, it seemed. For some things it does help, but for everything, for what we get hit with the most, it doesn't help. Even Jeff said that, and I'm like, no, this has to work, until like
Well, maybe
10.
they, and plus, what I found is somebody told me like a lot of these organite dealers, they'll start making it right the first time, and then they'll
Yeah,
get so many orders, they'll start getting lazy and taking shortcuts and selling you anything. You know,
that's
so
probably what.
that could be one of the reasons too, because I can get my EMF meter right now and show you it'll bring it from red to normal. So that's what
Right.
I'm thinking happened. And I did, matter of fact, I can go back and show you uh, a DM because right after I put this on Etsy, I DM'd the lady and I said, "Look, this is really bringing EMF down, and I hope you don't get lazy and all this and start taking shortcuts because it's helping a lot of people." And it's probably what she did.
Yeah. I think it was a guy, wasn't it? Was it a lady? Because
Maybe it
I,
was a guy, but the name just seemed like a. I just messaged the what was it? I messaged the company name on Etsy. And
right.
you know,
Oh,
they never messaged me back, but I did say that, look, man, whatever you're doing, keep making them the same way. Because I had heard these manufacturers, once they start getting a lot of orders, they'll start taking shortcuts, which makes sense because you can't keep all these good materials like that that does all that stuff in stock all the time. And that's what I'm thinking happened, you know, because I've had reports of people that say their EMF meter don't go down with it, and I've had reports of people that say theirs does. So I don't know if they're taking shortcuts or not, you know.
right, right. Well, they took a long time to send it to me. It was like a month or something like that. And you know, I was waiting and waiting and I was so happy when I got it and then nothing. So you're probably right because it took so long for them to send it. That's probably what happened. They just went ahead and had a lot of orders.
Which is crazy because they, you know, that was the whole purpose of us getting those.
Right.
Okay, let me see. I'm trying to. So, overall, like, how do you cope day to day as a TI? You know what? Because I asked that because you know what, like I said, what works for not just the weapons. Like, I mean, how do you cope, like, with isolation? I'm sure you've been through smear campaigns uh, and you know all the hacking and all that. Just overall, how do you cope? What do you do every day to cope?
Um, I have a gift to be able to disassociate from the reality of this stuff, which really helps. I pray a lot. I always have something playing usually on YouTube. I listen to the priests and the what do you call it? Prophecies of Our Lady. And that just helps me immensely. I listen, to prayers and stuff. Sometimes I actually pray them. I need to do better on that. But,
Right.
I just hope that it gets into my soul. Um, because sometimes it's you just get so overwhelmed, and what they're doing with my brain is it's so hard for me to focus. And it's amazing that I can have a conversation, honest to goodness, the way I feel. Learning stuff takes me forever most of the time. Even if I'm really interested, I have to um, go back on it, make sure I got, you know, the information correct and whatever. And yeah, so that's,
Oh yeah, another thing I was going to ask you about. Don't they didn't you say they get in your house and they mess with your stuff? Could you kind of explain that real quick? What they've continued doing since the last follow-up, like getting in your house, messing with your clothes, doing different stuff.
oh yeah, especially at night because I'm here usually during the day. They also come in during the day. If I go to the bathroom, if I go take a shower, I know somebody's been in here, they'll leave me little signs. And it's like, how did you even know? But yeah, if we take a nap, um, they're in here. They'll, absolute the last week or so, they've been rolling up my pant legs, and they do it from the back, so you have the under part of it showing. Sometimes it's like really tight up at my thighs, and I'm like, so they're letting me know that they came in, they touched me, they're cutting my hair, they shaved a spot on my head where, right on the front where it's like a circle and it's not grown back yet. So I don't know if they put something in there or not. Um, yeah, they're always stretching my clothes. Um, they get in somehow when we're home, the washer, they mess with my clothes there. I could tell because, you know, women's things, shouldn't be wrinkled the way they are and padding removed or crunched up, folded in fours and put back.
And the washer's in the basement, right?
Yes. And
Interesting.
weird thing is, and this is not the first time that this happened. These are not, I had different people living down there. They would actually think that I was in the basement. I would come down to check my washer and dryer because, things would happen. They would stop and, you know, uh, sometimes be set on a different setting. And I knew my friends weren't doing that. I mean, I asked them, they weren't messing with me. I mean, that's just crazy stuff. Why would they even bother doing that? They were not perps, because they would have been doing other things as well. Uh,
Right.
yeah, so, but they knew something was going on. Anyway, I come downstairs and like, you were just down here like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was gone for a little while. I maybe went to the store or I was doing something else, but I know I wasn't down there 5 minutes ago. They
Right.
knew somebody, but
But
they
they
didn't.
hurt somebody, so there was obviously somebody, and they play them games because they know that the plausible deniability of it is, and that's the sad thing. People better wake up because this I don't care, it's not happening to me stuff. You're in for a rude awakening.
Right. Well, the thing is, with the weapons that they have now, you don't know if they're doing it to you. Some people they
Right.
might with like once a month, you
Good
know,
point.
just to kind of make them think, something's a little wrong with them or whatever, and to throw off, you know, uh, yeah, I don't know. That's what I think anyway, because I always try to figure out what can they do to somebody else and make it look like it's them, not give them all the signs that they do for us, right?
Right.
They
And then
might,
you got people like that are sick and they think that something's wrong with them, and really it could be the weapons the whole time if they're sick a lot and they just don't realize it.
yes, absolutely. I think that has gone on for a very long time. What I'm wondering about is when people have multiple health issues, is that from them as opposed to just having like one thing going on, like was normal more normal back in when I was younger. You didn't hear about people having like five, six, eight things at once, and being totally miserable, and staying around for a long time, you know? Usually when you get that sick, I mean, you're not here for a long time, but they kind of drag it out, don't they? We suffer a long, long time, and then they
Yeah.
find,
If you look at Janet Phelan, I know
yeah,
you remember her, and I posted her on my YouTube. The woman in Mexico that died.
yeah. Oh,
Boy, she was complaining about it for years, and she suffered pretty bad too. Ann Casper suffered bad, especially in the last months. I don't know if do you remember Ann?
yes.
Yeah. Did you remember how bad, like, if you look at, like, well, see, and that's the thing too. I tell people, don't tag people on Facebook posts because, and especially if you found out they passed away, because if you tag people on Facebook posts, like, it takes forever to scroll down to Ann's, uh, profile and see her story, because people continue tagging and she's passed away, so it pushes her story down even further. So if anybody was to go check it out, chances are they're not going to take the time to scroll all the way down. She was a whistleblower in the 90s for Merrill Lynch. And she actually called me in 2018 when I was in Big Lots charging my phone in Claiborne, Texas, and says, "You don't know me, but I got your number somehow." And she just spoke hope into me and gave me a word of encouragement. It helped me through that moment. And then we talked again in 2022, and I think she passed in 2024. But if you could see, like a 3 month difference, she went from looking like normal and to just shriveled up, nothing.
Oh, yeah, you could really see the weapons exposure on her. And she was
Hmm.
complaining about it too. They would walk by her in the hospital, and they did have somehow connected with the phones because she would feel it, and she would complain about it. And they tried to put her in hospice long before she got really bad. Remember that?
Yep. Yep. Wasn't she in that place in Oklahoma? I think that's where. Well, I don't know if she went to. I can't remember the story now, but I think she ended up in Mexico too, didn't she?
You know what? I don't remember.
Because I know she was in a nursing home in Oklahoma. I think they transferred her to somewhere in Mexico on her last few. Well, she moved to Mexico or something. I don't remember how it went, but I know they were, whatever that place was in Oklahoma, she was being tortured bad.
Oh, yeah. But I don't think it changed much when she got transferred either because they took her out.
Mm-mm. Nope. And that's why it's important, like, if you can get organic food, which is hard, or like if you live near the Amish, to go to Amish stores and get your stuff, or if you know where a country store is, where local farmers bring their produce. I'm sure if it is tainted, it's not as bad as buying it at a store or something, a grocery store.
Right.
And doing I mean, I did garlic this morning. I garlic and honey because my lymph node right there is swollen up, and it's swollen up under my arm. So I done garlic, 2 cloves. I crushed it, waited 10 minutes, and I done a teaspoon of honey. Um, I just try to, because that video's out where you want to try to keep as much metals out of your body as possible this day
Yeah,
and
so
age.
so hard because they're
Oh
pampering
yes.
us with stuff. These planes going by, that's no joke. I have flowers dying, especially when it rains. They're supposed to perk up and look really pretty, and they do for a minute, and then you look at them later and they're brown. You know, uh, my roses do not depetal. They just turn brown. And that's weird. I should have petals all over the doggone place, but no, no rose tips anymore. Um,
Wow. Now somebody sent us this book and said this helps them a lot. And we haven't had we don't have a juicer yet, but hopefully one day we can get it. Let me see if they'll let me show this book. Well, it's called oh, come on now. I don't know how, can you see it? It's called Celery Juice. celery juice the most powerful of our time. I can't say what it says because of YouTube. But anyway, I can hold it up one more time. And hopefully one day you see it.
Yeah, it says celery juice, medical medium.
Yeah. Uh, Healing is millions worldwide. It's by Anthony William. So we've read the book, but we haven't I got around because something about the salts and the salt in the celery and stuff like that, the salt deposits it gives you is very healthy. But anyway, I hope one day we can afford a juicer and try it, you know?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. If you can grow a garden, perps won't let me have one, but grow your own food. There's things that you can grow inside your house. There's winter vegetables that you can um look into all that, people, if you are able to, and even if you have an apartment, you can grow something in your house, um at least you have something fresh and organic that you know where it came from. Don't buy stuff from the store unless it's organic, right? If you're going to grow it, because you don't want any pesticides or anything like that in it. You have to be careful about what kind of fertilizer you use as well. So there's that.
Trying to- Do you well I'll ask you when we're done with the interview. Uh but that's about all I have. You have any message for any targets that may be suffering right now watching this?
All I can say is have hope. I know it's hard. We know it's hard. There are days that you know, uh, just keep hope alive. You are valuable. You are worth it. God put us on this earth for a reason. And Christ suffered, so we're like him. We're suffering too. Give your suffering to Christ. And, you will feel better, at least spiritually. Even sometimes the weapons attacks go away when I try, to just focus on God. That's probably why they messed me up so much, with my focus and stuff. Um, but you are loved, you are needed, you are wanted, you are a treasure, you are valuable. I want you to know this, know who you are in Christ, who um, his Father created you, his Father, God, who created the whole universe. Every little thing that you see, he created you. You are more beautiful than a rose. Um, I love roses, they're my favorite. So, you're more beautiful than a field of flowers. You're more lovable than a kitten. Christ just has this great love for you. Our Father God loves you immensely. Our Holy Spirit loves you. You are here for a purpose. Find your purpose in Him, and you'll be able to go on another day, another hour, another week.
Right. And before we go, you survived in places where you were never watered, and that's a big time deal right there.
Amen.
Um, and what I was going to say is I'm going to put Ann's first interview in the comments. So be sure to check that out too. And like her YouTube is at Victorious in the number one. I'm going to stop recording now. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you so much, David. And God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Tell Holly I said hello.
Okay, I will.